Hey, welcome everybody. We're going to get started here in just a second as we invite you into the webinar. And as you come on, I'm going to ask April to promote the first big group of you to panelists so that we can see your smiling faces on video. Reggie said he'll do this with me, but he's not talking to a blank screen. He said, I want to see my peeps.
That's right.
This is going to be a great webinar today. We have Reggie Nicolay with us, which is going to be just fascinating when you learn what we can do with data. So I'm excited you're all here. As you're coming onto the call and we're promoting you to panelists, turn your video on so we can see it. Also, go in the chat box real quick. Tell us who you are and where you're from. Let's get a little bit of a little dialogue going. This is not going to be talking heads today. We're going to have a little interaction if you're okay with that. I see Amy Gray's here. Hey, Super Denise out of Las Vegas. Denise is one of the A players, Reggie. She's here. That's great.
Hello, Denise.
I'm going to say that about everybody. Also, Yvonne from Las Vegas is here. Yamel Maynard's here. She's awesome. Look at that. Denise says she's bringing lots of people to hear you, Reggie.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Andrea. So Andrea's here from Trish Nash's team in Henderson, Nevada. We got a good Nevada contingent here today. Helena's here from Middletown, Delaware. Reggie, where in California are you?
So Northern California in Livermore. It's about 35 minutes east of San Francisco.
35 minutes east of San Francisco. So what are you thinking about the NBA playoffs right now? It's going to be a short series.
I wanted that first win pretty bad, but now I'm thinking this may go the stretch. But it's a difficult matchup. But I'm Golden State all the way.
It's pretty fun. I love it. I love watching the NBA final, even though my Jazz are out and their head coach quit this week.
Yeah, I saw that.
So let's see. We have New York on here. Blake Hayden Group. Oh, very cool. Hamilton, Ontario. We got Canada represented. We got to represent Canada. Love that. Hey, Brenda. Austin Lyons here from Belton, Texas. Tulsa Metro's here. We have Charlotte here, Minnesota, North Carolina. Attila from Toronto. Hey, all right, everybody. I just want to say welcome. Are you promoting people to panelists?
I am working on it. So everybody's coming in and they're in the chat and they're having fun, but I'm trying to get them to turn on their.
All right, turn on your video. I'm going to go through and help you with it, do a few of those for just a minute. So if I promote you to a panelist that says you want to turn on your video, just say yes to your screen. And that way we can see some of you. There you go. Here comes Andrea.
Hey, Andrea.
I'm helping you. Here's Cassie and Josh is probably joining us. Hey, good morning. Good morning. So let's get started. We have a great group today, and I want to just take a second and say happy summer to everybody. Here we are in the middle of June. It's we haven't really had like summer start in Utah yet. It's still in the mid 80s. It's like we're having this great long spring, and it usually gets super hot here. So it's been, I'm saying my sister's here from Phoenix staying with us, and she's like doesn't want to go back home to the 112s. Because everything is so nice in Salt Lake City right now. One of the things I'm noticing, everybody, is let me just introduce myself. I'm Verl Workman, CEO of Workman Success Systems. And we have a great guest today. I have Reggie Nicolay here with RPR. We're going to talk about how we can use data to create an unfair competitive advantage in the marketplace and to increase our touches with our clients with meaningful information that'll help them move the needle. And so we're going to get into technology and systems that pretty much everybody has available to them. I think is really interesting is a lot of people don't know what's available. And so, NAR puts out unbelievable content and data, and they have access to all this data, but people don't utilize the data. Reggie's the founder of mytechopinion.com, and he's the VP of marketing for Realtor Property Resource. He and I go back probably 15 to 20 years when his wife and I were involved in a project we did with Kodak and some other things. She was one of the early influencers in real estate and she today runs a successful real estate team. It was really fun to watch. One of the things I love about the Nicolay family is that their family is their priority. And there's all the stuff we have going on in real estate and all the things we have that we can get engaged in to make money. If you follow them or you watch what they do, their family's always at the center of everything they do. So Reggie, thanks for being here. And thanks for being such a great example of being a great husband and father, and also being able to do what you do in real estate.
Thank you. One nice compliment. Thank you very much, Verl. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, to me, that's probably the best compliment.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
There's a lot of cool things that we can do, and that's a big one. So tell me a little bit about yourself and what the mission is of RPR. And I have some slides, and I'll throw those up here too.
Okay, so I mean, I grew up in a real estate family. I loved the industry from an early age. I never wanted to sell real estate. I really wanted to be around it. The technology seemed. I was fascinated with how much technology was out there, but how confusing it all was. That's why I started a blog in 2004. I started writing about how agents could adopt technology, use it to stand out. And that really was a springboard for me. I got into the title world. I was a regional technology director. I then went over to cyberhomes.com in the marketing area, and Cyberhomes, ultimately, the code base went on to become the first round of what is today RPR. And so that's kind of been my trajectory up through. I've been with RPR for over a decade, since I was in the starting crew in 2009. And this mission excited me to the core, because basically what RPR was doing was a game changer. And it was really making the access to data for the realtor at a higher level. And that's what I wanted to do, take away the boundaries and make it available. So that's what we've been doing.
I'm fixing this deck so it shows the right screen. There it is.
All right, that's us.
I think we got it. So that's cool. So you've been in the space a long time. How did you get into really getting focused on data? What got you passionate about what you're doing with RPR?
I think it was my intersection with Marty Frame, a tech pioneer, in the real estate space. I met him at the Fidelity National Finance Company and Cyberhomes, and then really seeing kind of how that all played out. It just pulled me in. I was enamored. And when I saw how dirty data can be and the challenge that represents for agents at market level in the field, trying to understand what's really happening, I was hooked. And it's been a fun ride along ever since.
Yeah, that's funny. I've never used the words "I'm hooked on data" before. That's so out of my happy place. I use data because it's meaningful and I want to see the pie charts, but how you gather it, my brain doesn't function that way. When I get into the spreadsheets, it requires me to operate a really high level of stress because it's not where I live.
I totally understand. Yeah, that's definitely more my comfort lane.
It's my DI. And Jonathan and Denise and Andrea, thanks for turning your video on. Cassie and Andrea and Thea, if you turn your videos on, we appreciate it. It's fun to see you all. So let's just kind of talk about, first of all, we're going to give some stuff away. So I want everybody to grab your camera and take a picture of the QR code or to write this thing down. I'm going to go through data really fast with Reggie, and I want you to get a copy of this presentation so that you can get a video of the presentation so you know what we talked about today. And also, we're going to give you a home and farming prospecting for new clients white paper put out by RPR, which is phenomenal. Reggie will talk a little bit about that today. And if you want to learn how to work with Workman and you'd like a free coaching strategy session, it's all going to be on the same link. So go ahead and take a picture of that or grab that link, because I'm not going to go back to it yet. That's the whole sales pitch of the day. Is I'm going to give you information. You can download it for free, and we'll probably follow up with you. How's that? All right, so let's talk about what RPR does. So tell me, give me first of all, let's talk about who has access to it. Where does it live?
Yeah, so basically every realtor has access to RPR. You just may not have created your account yet, but it is 100% a member benefit. It is offered to you through NAR, and there's no consumer access. So it's really just you going into this nationwide system. You can access both residential and commercial properties. A lot of folks don't know that, but it spans both residential and commercials. Never going to be an upsell when you're in the program. Unlimited use. It's available at narrpr.com.
What's funny is I didn't know it did commercial. So as we were going through this and you were explaining it to you, I was like, what? I didn't know we had that. That's really cool.
Right? 835,000 active listings on the commercial side right now. We partner with companies like Brevitas, Crexi, Total Commercial, and others to get that data in, plus CIEs and MLSs.
And so give me a snapshot of what's there. And if you ever want to share your screen, you can tell me and I'll flip it over and let you have it. This is
Okay, cool. Well, at a high level, just about everything. So if you think about it in layers, our RPR spans the nation. So every property has its own like property details page. We'll start with public records, and then information gets layered on. Basically, we partner with about 96% of the MLSs across the nation. There's a few that still haven't, but most are. All that data gets layered on top of the public records data. And then you take other data sets and you can continue to layer it on. So, that tax, legal, deed, owner information, distressed information, mapping, photos, comparison tools to compare historical records. What's great about this is it's all presented in entirety, side by side, so you can see the data and where differences lie. So if you are comparing, say, property characteristics of a public record versus a listing record, you can see differences very quickly if there are errors.
I think about all the challenges that we have in real estate today. Like here's my mind goes here first. So I'm thinking about, okay, so we have agents are facing limited inventory, even though it's starting to change a little bit and we're starting to feel properties sitting on the market for more than 24 minutes. It's so funny that people think that that's a down market. Like things aren't selling in 12 seconds.
Right. That's
not a down market. We're not seeing the same level of price increases, but they're still selling. It's a great market. People don't know what to say. So we have this database of people, and we have all these people in our database. Like we call it our top 50. It's a group of people that we focus on at Workman. And we don't know what to say to them. You can only invite them to so many pie days, right? A year. And at some point you have to establish yourself as a true real estate expert. And so I think that what RPR does is it gives you all this unreal data that if you package it correctly, it gives you the ability what to say. And I have always maintained that there is not a lack of inventory. And if in your business you feel like there's a lack of inventory, it's because you don't have it, not because it doesn't exist. So think about that. I tell agents all the time, there's plenty of inventory. Look at how many houses are selling. And so if you don't have the inventory, go get it. And we don't create any new business. All we do is take other people's. And so you have to decide which end of that transaction you want to be on. The other thing is people struggling for pricing, right? Like, how do I price properties right? What's happening historically? Where have people been in the property? And so I'm giving you these challenges that I see, and then I'd like to see how we can use data and RPR to solve those problems in a communication method. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Like when someone says, how's the market? I'm just curious. Let's ask the group. Should we ask the group? When someone says to you, how's the market? How do you answer that question? Like, go to the chat box and tell me how you answer, how's the market? I'm trying to get my mouse over the stop share button. Okay, I'm going into the chat. When someone asks you, how's the market? Here's my chat box. Unbelievable. It's slow. I tell them it's slowing down. By the way, I'm going to give you other ways of answering that question. I think there's what segment? There's exciting opportunities. Please send another panelist request. It's on fire. It's fantastic. It's unbelievable. It's complicated. That's funny. It's complex, and it takes a professional to help you navigate it. I like that, Cassie. I like that. The market, it's great. It's normalizing now. It's a great time to sell. Complicated. Are you thinking of buying or selling? I like that. That's my favorite one so far. It's unique. Love these, Reggie. This is like it's really cool to see how when somebody asks these professional agents how the market is, Tanner says it's excellent. It's a great time to buy. Historical low interest rates, opportunity to build your wealth through real estate, have $0 in housing debt and retirement. Great answer. Best time to sell was yesterday. Second best time to sell is today. When can I stop by and let you know how much it costs to sell your house? I like that we're asking closing questions with some of these. It's interesting. It's balanced. Why? What are you asking? It's cooling. You should see some price stabilization. I think that one of the things that we have the ability to do as agents is to separate ourselves from everybody else. And so if I were to ask everybody, this question is, how is your answer different than most other realtors? Like, are you answering a way that sounds like every other realtor? Or are you giving them something that makes you stand out as a true professional? You know, I used to say, remember, I don't know if you remember back in the old days of doing seminars, people say, how you doing? We used to say, it's unbelievable. And if you say it with enough enthusiasm, it could be unbelievable good. It could be unbelievable bad. They'll believe that it's good. Well, today, I think that our consumer is a little more tech savvy than that. They're a little more savvy to slick salespeople, and nobody wants to be sold. What they're looking for is true experts, and they're looking for someone that can really help them make intelligent decisions. And so the answer to the question of how you doing should always end with, why do you ask? So whatever your response is, the market is good, we found, and here's some data. Why do you ask? It opens up an opportunity to have another closing question. So Reggie, kind of, if somebody asks you how the market's doing, what do you show them?
Well, so I would like to do two things with this. I'll show you what I would show today, and then we have a release coming on the 28th. You said I could share my screen. I'd like to actually show you, because we have a new neighborhood page with new data sets that are coming in that are going to blow your mind. Okay, so
you guys want to see new stuff that's not out yet?
Yeah, now I got permission that I could share this. You're going to be the first group to see it. But basically, I mean, so today I would use the data trend lines. I mean, I would go to a property, I would look at the current median listing price and see how that's correlating with sales price, see how that correlates with sales volume and listing inventory. We have all that right there on the property details page. I think that together helps tell the story. And I think that you can use the market activity report to package that.
Hey, Reggie, Denise asked, how much is RPR? What does it cost?
A whopping covered in member dues free. There's no extra cost. So if you're a realtor, it's yours. And there's no upsell.
Wait, you're not going to show me all this cool stuff and then try and upsell me?
No, there's no upsell. And that's been our mission. It's really just it's a member benefit, 100%. RPR is a wholly owned subsidiary of NAR.
Yeah, so everybody gets to, you just relax and look at it and say, okay, how do I use this?
It's yours. Yeah.
Not buying and start using. I think a lot of people pay for this data when they could be getting it for free.
Yeah, I mean, talk about economies of scale. This is what, you know, this is what the nationwide count of realtors is able to do. You know, you bring the cost down. So very exciting. Now, let me show you what's about to be released on June 28th. I'm super excited about this. So let me share my screen here. Okay. What you're looking at is our new, so first of all, on the property details page, what we currently call charts is going to change to market trends. And that will take you over to this market trends area where we're going to, for the first time, introduce this new chart that tries to show you the current market. If you're curious kind of why the arrow sits where it sits, click on about this data and you can see the coding. So seller's market, about a little over 5 months of inventory, balance market, and so on. Now I can see my market right here and you can compare it across. So you can see how much inventory you currently sit at, how that's changed over the last month, what the list to sold price performance is, how many days in RPR, like on listings on average, and then what that median sold price point is. So that's just getting started. You can do that for any property type if you'd like, and it will change dynamically. Okay. Wasn't that cool? Now I want to click over to the housing tab, and then this is where it gets really exciting. So we can start to come down here and we can compare all of our status buckets. So new listings, active listings, new pending listings, and so on. And we can compare all the buckets, the median price point, how many properties, median days in RPR, median price per square foot, etc. I mean, tell me you can't just dominate with this data. You can quickly compare areas by just opening two tabs, putting them next to each other, and see. In my town, I've been doing that, and it's really wild how different the south side is from the north side of my town, dramatically. You know,
so I'm looking at this right now and I'm instantly going into comparison. By the way, if houses are going over 300 to 350 bucks a square foot in Salt Lake, I'm like, you're probably smoking crack. Your median is $684 a square foot. Look at that. Is anybody else looking at this data and comparing it to what's going on in their market? Like, Denise, are you looking at that? Are you looking at it that way going, that's it? Like I can see, so if I've got a buyer and they're trying to decide where to live, I can pull two neighborhoods up, or I can put up two communities or two counties, and I can compare the median price per square foot side by side.
That's right. That's right. And it's so easy to compare when the numbers are all the same. You know, when you're looking at all the same type of information. And by the way, printer friendly. So you just come up here and you hit print. So
prints with your branding on it and everything.
yeah. So that's coming June 28th. Don't look there today for this tab, June 28th.
And so while you're here, I don't care
sorry,
if
should I
you
share that
I don't
again?
care if you do live or we go back to slides, but like I love looking at the data that's real. Show me like we talked about finding new business. Is there anybody on this call that would like an inside track on identifying new business? Like, is there anybody out who would like more listings? Like,
Right.
Cassie, come on. There you go. Now, okay. So, all right. So we like the idea of looking.
Yep.
And trying to generate new business. Do you want to show live or do you want me to go back to the slide deck and talk about how
we
it
can do
works?
it either way. Let's talk through it. And if we feel like we need to go live, we can. So first, let me level set one thing, make sure everybody knows. You can today in RPR export property records and owner names. So you can do 2,000 records a month, okay? That export can be a CSV file or it can be ready to print labels. So just understanding that, that's the first place. So you just have to be in search results and you can export 2,000 records, okay? So a lot of folks start with geographic farming, and you're in the ebook that you're gonna get from us, we really dive deep into how to do it with RPR, but geographic farming, pretty straightforward. You can use our mapping, you can come in, you can use the cursor and you can draw geography, or you can use known geographies, but you can identify a neighborhood. That's just the straightforward, easiest first way, right? All the homes pop up, you click mailing labels right above the map there, and you export your results.
Okay, so I think it's cooler to see it, like for me.
Let's do it. Let me go.
I'm gonna stop sharing. Like,
let me just get my window open.
I hope you all of our guests don't mind not being a canned presentation. Like, I'm being genuinely curious. This fascinates me.
Right.
And if you have questions or things that you want to ask Reggie, let's just type in the text, and I'll do the best that I can to ask.
So let's start off and just kind of do what I just was saying. I'm just in a little neighborhood here in Scottsdale, and I'm just gonna, let's say I want today to I want to create a neighborhood farm. And
as an agent, do I have access to national data or just my market?
Yes, you have. So basically the way it works is from a public record standpoint, you're going to have all of that data nationwide. Now the MLS data, every MLS is slightly different on the rights that they've given to their data. They have MLSs they share with, and there's others they don't share with. We make that all available up at the top of RPR in your profile area. There's a little green dot, and you can actually see who shares with you. I think that's pretty helpful, but understand that you will be able to search nationwide for public records information and get results.
Okay, so you just grabbed the pen tool, you drew a circle around the area.
I drew a search basically, and now I need to make sure I'm on public records. And I've done this, and I basically just search. So I go ahead and search in this area. And now I've got 500 properties of 20, it only shows me 500 at a time, okay, of 2,600 properties in this full shape. So I could refine it, or I could do whatever I want. I can change my view if I want to see the properties, but I've got my results, okay? So now I could go ahead and export these suckers if I want.
These aren't just listed, these are
public records, yeah. And matter of fact, I could easily eliminate the ones that are listed, but I have to do two searches. I have to kind of figure out which ones are listed first and then pull them out. But let's say I want to take this a step further because, you know, maybe I don't want to do a blanket campaign to a neighborhood. Maybe I'm interested in, you know, the time an owner has owned a home, or their occupancy type. I'm interested in absentee owners, or maybe I want, you know, a property that's distressed status or some other, you know, trigger. That's where I can open up my more filters at any time. And I can go through things looking, you know, I can look at last sold in this time frame. I can do a certain property type, certain distress status, pre-foreclosed, foreclosure, bank owned. I can, you know,
so this, just hang on a second, because you go over stuff so fast.
I know, sorry.
So I have to be in coach mode for just a minute.
Yeah.
So as I'm thinking about the data and I'm looking for listings, you know, people spend huge money to go out and find foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, bank-owned properties. You're saying that I can go into RPR, I can pull up and show me all of the pre-foreclosures or notice of defaults that have been set out because of public record.
That's right.
Without paying for that data.
That's right.
And then I can select them as a mailer, and I can drive a mailer to them, or I can get all those addresses, or I can go drive by them and drop off a door hanger or knock on the door and say, hey, I don't know what the problem is, but how can I help?
100%. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. So keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's really it. So it's using these filters, like you just said, maybe it's your distress status. You're interested in pre-foreclosures. You pick a time frame, you know, last 12 months, whatever it is, last 30 days, and, you know, owns a certain amount of time, lives at the site, doesn't live at the site, whatever it is that you want to query by. And then you go ahead and research. And if there are results, in this particular case, we didn't have any in that neighborhood. But you would obviously get them, and you can reduce, you know, improve your segmenting, I should say. I think the thing that was probably too close was this pre-foreclosure right here. There we go. So
this is all the pre-foreclosure. A lot of people think that everyone's got equity and no one's going into foreclosure.
And let's see what else. I was trying to think of what else I could show here on. So we're talking about leads. I showed you this. Here we can basically say CSV, we can say PDF, how we want the results. Do we want to go to the property address or tax billing? Do we want to use the owner's name, or do we want to go ahead and write in like a custom name if we're doing labels? And then I can go ahead and export my list right here. And it gives you your count. And if because we get our data from Black Knight, we do have a little banner here. It's a portal to a paid service. This is not an RPR thing. This is like Black Knight's taking mailing labels further. So if you need more than 2,000, if you need more advanced segmentation, but just know that leaves RPR.
So can you search outside of your area?
Yes, like because I'm in the Bay Area right now. I'm in Scottsdale. I'm in San Francisco, but today
pull up Greater Las Vegas.
Okay.
So Denise, type in what area you want me to. Denise is saying that foreclosures are on the rise in Las Vegas because of COVID and some of that stuff. It's kind of interesting. And she says she's listed a couple of properties as a result of foreclosures. She wants to find more of them. And so let's look for people that have been in their house for 0 to 20 years that are in the pre-foreclosure status.
So in this case, we located in the last 3 months, 277 properties, pre-foreclosure status. If you go to list view, you can start to see these properties. If you go into one of the properties, you can learn more about it. And so basically now we're looking at a particular property. We can see some, all the physical characteristics, public records. Let's see, we come down here and all the features of the home.
You slow down.
Yep.
I'm leaning in. I'm trying to see it. I'm like, wait.
Sorry, yeah.
I saw a pie chart. I'm really interested in
the pie chart it's useful, but maybe not in this sense. It's AARP data. So this is a livability index. Okay. So yeah, it scores every neighborhood based on these characteristics. One more way to kind of look and compare areas.
That's a huge thing in Phoenix and in Vegas.
That's right. And you can click through to AARP, by the way, and you can get that data. And the other big thing is climate data. I'm sorry, I'm kind of jumping all over, but climate data becomes extremely important. That's also available right up here.
So what can I know about my homeowner?
Well, if we go over to the history tab, let me point out something here. We can see basically they've had some trouble. Each of these dots is a distressed action. So, over the years, you can see they've kind of gone in and out of some trouble. We see the listing activity. We see assessed value. We see AVM value over time. So that means the automated valuation jumps significantly here. Then we go in, we see when the home previously sold. So this is again where I was telling you how you get to see everything and all the records, and you can compare them side by side. If you come down here a little further, we've got the tax information.
I mean, this looks like someone who knows how to play the system pretty well.
Yeah. And then you got the mortgage record here. So it looks like we have multiple records, and we can go ahead and scroll through them here. So you've got this is the current one. You got 516 loan amount, 3.5 million, just an easy 3.5 mil.
Crack house.
Yeah. And then here's that distress record that we were talking about. 314, payment due date, document number, pre-foreclosure.
Yep. So I'm just thinking about this, and I'm thinking about, okay, so I want to help my people create opportunities. Everybody likes to hunt where everybody else is hunting or fish where everybody else is fishing, and I want to fish upstream. I want to go away from where the crowd is, and I want to start looking at areas where nobody else is looking, especially today. And this is a great way of doing that. Let's go back to and talk a little bit about some of the things you do from a farming perspective. Like
Okay.
you got some cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just starting with farming, something that I think a lot of agents don't necessarily consider, you just pick a farm. Well, why not start by looking at turnover rate and looking at things like, which homes are actually producing the sales. So using RPR, you can compare neighborhoods. There's some manual math, but in the ebook, we go in to show you the formulas, show you how you can do the search queries, and actually look at the performance of these neighborhoods over time. I think it's very important for a geographical farming plan.
Okay, so how do you use RPR with like what you currently are listing? So when I have an active listing, or I want to go after, because there's all this data in here, can I use this for giving better presentations?
Oh man, I mean, well, circle prospecting is a big one. So I mean, if you just got a listing, you got to tell the neighbors. So one thing, I'm still sharing my screen.
Show me what it looks like.
Yeah, if I go into the map, by the way, I just clicked into the map right off the property page. There's more than one way to get to it, but you can always say draw radius, and you just basically go out, and then I can go ahead and search. And basically what I can do is create, here, let me do this really quick. Let me zoom out. Create a radius for me to mail to, like my 200, 300 people around the home.
Just listed.
Yeah, however you want to do that. Yeah, and I can go ahead and search this, and then once I've searched, I can create my export. So notice they'll all be, oh, I'm sorry, I have to put it on public records again. This is let me just mention it really quick. So type status, when you search in RPR, we group the search by either on market or off market. So if I see one error that prevents somebody from seeing a property, it's that they're searching for with an on market, but it's actually a public record they should be searching for. So just make sure your, type status is correct. In this case, public records, and then I search, and then boom, I can export these right from there. And then, yeah, so circle prospecting is super easy. I can use this to populate my database, whatever I want to do there.
Am I able to get homeowner data? Can I get their names and numbers?
Yes, so okay. You get the name. On the contact side, we're actually working on this right now. This is a big initiative for us. I don't have a timeline, but we're working on delivering phone numbers, email addresses. This is a big project for us. So I would say stay tuned, but it is something we're working on.
Okay, love that.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing I'd mention, you said, how can RPR help you here if you just got a listing, and we talked about marketing. The other thing you could do when you're going and doing a preview for the neighbors for your open house or something like that, just by having the RPR reports available when you're talking with those homeowners, it's likely somebody's going to know about their own home value. So remember that too. Use the RPR database in those conversations with homeowners to draw more interest.
Okay, so let's pick a neighborhood. Can we look by neighborhoods? Can we pick a name, a subdivision of neighborhood?
Yeah,
so Richard's out in Texas. So Richard, give me the name of a neighborhood you'd like to search.
And we know some neighborhoods just know it's like it has to be an established neighborhood. One thing I'll show you is we have these overlays that are right on the maps.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we can overlay school attendance zones. We can overlay what they call micro, macro, intermediate, and minor neighborhood boundaries.
What does that mean?
So basically they're neighborhoods that are defined. So they're just at different sizes and levels. So for example, if I do intermediate, you can see here, this neighborhood is called Rancho Viejo. And so I would be able to search Rancho Viejo as well and come up with the same result. But notice not all neighborhoods, like if I click in this area, there's not a known neighborhood here. There's another one up here. See how they're represented by these shaded areas? So the Lakes Country Club, West Sierra. So these are nationwide, and they're at those 4 levels: macro, intermediate, minor, and in micro. And then we can do zip codes, opportunity zones. You've heard of
Yeah,
those?
so let's talk about opportunity zones for a minute.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know what those are. I just got back from a pretty intense investor seminar where I was an attendee, and there's a lot of people that are really focusing on opportunity zones. Explain what that looks like.
Yeah, so these were areas that are basically were underdeveloped in an area that need investment, and they've been identified through these like census tract areas, and they're represented in RPR with these shaded, when you click opportunity zones, with these shaded orange areas. So you can go ahead and find them in your area if there are any, and there's certain tax advantages of it with fixing up properties in that area. And I'm not an expert on opportunity zones, so I can't talk too much about them, but I do know there's quite a bit of strategy there.
Yeah, neither am I, but I do know there's a lot of people that focus on them. There's investors that want to invest in opportunity zones. They want to make a difference in communities. They're usually areas of a community where the government's saying, let's improve this environment. And so they're giving you incentives to invest in those areas.
That's exactly right. And so in this case, you can see them. You can go ahead and use any of your search tools to identify the properties. And then like we talked about, you can export those. You can, do whatever it is you need to do, create reports.
Yeah, Denise mentioned redevelopment. A lot of people are going in and getting multifamily. They get like some different things right there. Okay, so Richard's asking some questions here. Let me see, Richard. He says he lives near Augusta Pines, the name, but there's different prices. And some are gated and some are non-gated within the same Augusta Pines.
Okay. Are we looking there?
We can. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like asking questions I don't know the answer to.
Yeah. I'm not. Well, I'm not even sure what I'm looking up just now. Are we just looking at trends, kind of see what's going on, or?
I think what he's looking for is, can I compare neighborhoods that are gated, or not gated?
Gotcha. So,
that's an interesting one, isn't it?
I don't know that we have the perfect comparison tool just yet. So that new neighborhood section that I showed you just a minute ago, where I was showing you the buyer and the seller's market and all that, that is ripe for a comparison tool. When that comes out, you're going to have to do multiple browser windows and compare them side by side. Okay. I do see a feature in the future where we're literally letting you choose the neighborhoods and compare them, because the data is so rich. It's just not going to be available on the 28th.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, right now it is pretty easy in 2 windows.
All right, so let's go. Let's keep talking. Let's talk about. So we talked about researching property.
Yes.
You showed me a tool where I can go in and look at actual property. I can see the street view. You kind of took me down into like what can you really get? What kind of data can you really get on a property? So let's say you've got somebody in your database and you're working your top 50 and you identify, like, how can I identify if someone's likely to move?
Yes. So identify if someone's likely to move. So although we don't have any type of score, like some, you've probably seen that out there. I mean, you can use certain indicators, time to own, the distress status that we talked about, but you can also, let's see, know that they want to move. We don't have life events in there.
Can't wait till we get that.
Yeah, I know. We've also been looking at that. I really feel like it comes probably down more to the financial stress, of the property that we looked at. That's probably the best way to indicate it. Equity these days
equity is huge.
Yeah, equity is huge. That is a manual process. We don't have like an equity score. We are looking at that, but you can try to calculate that equity based off of the valuation of the home, minus the mortgage record.
Okay, so tell me what the list price versus the AVM is.
Yeah, so let's talk about something. So first of all, you're going to either see an AVM or an RVM. Okay, when you get on these high-end homes, when we're talking 3 million, it's probably going to be an AVM, because our confidence is going to wane. We're not going to be as confident that it's. So by the way, the RVM stands for Realtor Valuation Model. The only way an RVM gets out into the market is through the realtor's hands. Okay, it comes out in the reporting that you all generate from the system. The RVM is really a tool to combat the valuations that you're seeing on the internet these days from all the consumer sites, right? The biggest difference is in our platform, in RPR, your site, you get to see a little background into it. When you click on the RVM, well, let me go to a better property because I want to see You basically get to see the comps that were put into it. We're trying to show you into the algorithm so that when the consumer asks questions, like why is it off, you can start to see what goes into the recipe. This should be a little closer just based on the value. Okay, so I'm going to click RVM here. And then notice we tell you the subject property, and we show you these comps that were used in this RVM calculation. So right off, your automated valuation has more transparency for you, so you can use that with the consumer. So I think that's huge.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And this is printable, by the way. Just come up top, printer friendly view. A lot of people like this. This is great for that first conversation. Then when you want to take the automated valuation and make it more accurate, we have two tools. We have the CMA, you're all familiar with CMAs, and then we have refined value. Refined value is a little different. I kind of think of it as a seller feature. It's for the seller because it accounts for home upgrades. So we work with what used to be Remodeling Magazine, now known as Zonda, and we take national remodeling data and refactor that at a zip code level. And basically what it allows you to do is go into RPR and take that RVM value and refine it to make it a truer valuation based on your local market expertise. You correct any physical characteristics. Notice this one's missing a bedroom count. Funny thing about automated valuations, when they're missing a component like that, they make an assumption. So we know about assumptions, right? They can be good and bad. But I think that's great for you just to know right off. And then when you put it in, if you see that valuation change wildly, well, our assumption was wrong. And so now when you put that in, it's correcting it. So just being able to speak to that is huge. And then putting in your upgrade, maybe they did a major kitchen remodel, putting in the time and date they did that in, it refactors it, gives you a cost appreciation of money there. And then you can maybe put in a needed improvement. And then you can use these scales. And really, this is where you're kind of, your understanding of where the price should be in the local market, you can use these scales to really dial in that price. So this is the refined value tool, very different than a CMA, but it still will arrive at a value. And then, so we've had the RVM, the refined value, and then the CMA. The CMA is fantastic. I'm married to a realtor. When for a few years before she got into real estate, she would barely listen to me talk about RPR. Now that she's in it, she just always is trying to get tips. She'll tell me her favorite thing is this, because she's always being challenged on pricing. And she's able to manipulate this to do exactly what she wants based on the situation and the home. And she loves that. So it's simple. Confirm the home's facts. What are the property? What's it like? Pick your comparables. You have a great map interface plus a list interface where you can see that all the details of each comp. You select the ones you want. We're going to tell you also the ones we think might be a good match and that we used in the RVM. Once you pick those, you go on to the next step. You make any adjustments. How do they compare to the subject property? And then you come up with a value. And the cool thing about the value is you can adjust it. So like you can take out the value and keep a range. You can make the range bigger, tighten it up. You control that ultimate number. And then you create your seller's report. And it's a beautiful, colorful report that has not only the valuation and the comps, but it has the market trends that we talked about.
So let's put practical application to this. So obviously there's the, I'm going to list a home need for a CMA, but what if we all looked at our database and we picked our list of our top 50 people, and we decided that in the month of July, we were going to send a free market analysis that was pre-done via email to all of our people in our database. Already in our database, we have their email addresses. What would that look like?
So you cut out on one first part. Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
Yes, I want to send a CMA to my top 50.
Yeah.
I have 50 people that I'd like to build an automated CMA with a message that says, hey, congratulations, there's been tremendous appreciation in your neighborhood. I just want to reach out. A lot of people don't know how well their house is performing. Yours is doing great. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help, or if you want to move to move that equity into a different property, let me know.
I love this. This is also something that my wife just started doing recently, because she knows it's like time to get back to the basics. Yeah. So she's calling it equity checkup. That's kind of what we call it here at RPR. It's not completely automated. There's some manual, but let's walk through it. First of all, we put up a blog post that's going to give you some scripts. and it's going to give you the exact how-to. If you go to rpr.me/equity, it will take you to the article. Okay, so rpr.me/equity. A couple email scripts in there and the how-to. But essentially what we're talking about is creating a follow-up, an item of value for your past clients that shows their current market value and that gets at the equity in their home. And to do that, there's a couple things you could possibly do. But first, I'd say you go into RPR, you could either use that RVM value. If you're in an area where there are comparable homes and you got a 5-star confidence rating, that's probably pretty close. Or you can do a CMA. Then when you create the report, modify the mini property report and just take it down to a few pages. Cover page, the second page, and then anything else you want, but keep it very tight. But you'll see the photo of the home along with the price. That's really what you're getting at. And there's some place in there where, so you have to do this math manually. We don't actually do the equity math yet. We are looking into this. It's just very sticky. But what you could do is a couple things. If you have a relationship, you can ask what that mortgage balance is. If they don't have that relationship or you don't want to take the time, use the mortgage record on the property itself and just use that to subtract from that current market value. And that gives them a nice ballpark. I mean, owners never get tired of hearing how much their home is worth. So it's a great message to deliver. And this is one that, yeah, that's the 2 pages.
I just threw it up so they can see.
Yeah, no, I love it. See, I mean, I feel like this is it. You can write in that open place and it's just easy peasy. The manual part is, you know, doing the valuation if you want to take it there, but I think your clients will react for sure.
Love that. Okay, so tell me about the mobile app. This is pretty sick.
You got to get the mobile app if you don't have it. RPR Mobile in the App Store. It's on iOS and on Android. We're doing a big upgrade in August. Just know that it's not necessarily for feature, but we're upgrading the entire back end. But it will look a little refreshed. But man, this is the secret tool for you because you're putting RPR in your pocket or your purse. And then now when you're out in life, and we all know those conversations come up. How's the market? Did you see X? What's this word? What's going on here? You don't need to save it to get back to the office. You can create reports in seconds. You can do CMAs in minutes. You can look up any property and get all that same information right on your phone. So,
all right. So let's just stop for a second. So now someone says, how's the market? You say, well, hang on, let's look.
And guess what?
Instead of saying like, oh, it's super, or it's hard, or it's different. What if you just said, hey, let's look, and it brings up, like, do you want to know how the market is right here? So within half a mile of where we are, there's 27 properties for sale, 5 that went on the market this week, 23 recently sold, and 5 leases. What do you want to look at? And I can click on any of those. It'll take me deep into those properties.
That's right.
So like you become this like walking data machine that has all this information at your fingertips. And a lot of our, I found a lot of realtors using outside of real estate data because it functions better than their MLS, meaning I see them go to Zillow or other competitive sites, but that's not going to give you the same information that you're getting from RPR. And it's not going to be like delivered to you by the MLS.
Speaking of that, how many times have you been with a buyer going out, you're previewing properties and they point at something that you didn't plan and you're like, oh gosh, and you got to kind of know, and is it even worth my time? What do? Just pull it up right on the spot. It will show up because you're next to it, discredit it on the spot, or set up a showing, click call agent, and without skipping a beat, be in that property, look at showing instruction, agent's remarks, whatever you need to do.
Yeah, I just think it's so cool. All right, so let's go to kind of the next one here.
Text reports out of the system, by the way, you can text them. Yeah. Okay. Yes. School. I see school reports coming up.
Okay, let's talk about school data.
Yes. So school data, we use Niche for the school data. If you all heard of Niche, basically through the website or the mobile app, you can create school reports based on public, private, middle, high school, elementary school. Each report has, a map of the school, photo of the school, if available, school ratings, teacher student ratio. It has enrollment numbers. It has, all those proficiency levels. Really easy to create PDF format.
And so I can pull up the neighborhood, I can pull up school reports, I can get the test scores, the things that any potential buyer is going to want to know. I can pull it up in my mobile app. So while I'm looking at a property with a client, the clients just tell me about the schools. You go boom, click on schools, pull it up, it's here.
Another place these are really great is open houses. If you are at open houses and buyers are coming through and they're asking the questions, when they want, a school always comes up, just fire off that report right out of the mobile app. Here it is. Just take a look at this one. Here you go. Here you go. Yeah, and there's an example. I mean, the cover, can I mention one thing we haven't talked about?
Yeah.
So when you look at that cover page and you see the branding next to the agent photo, we don't just do that. Also, brokerages can take the RPR branding off the top for all their agents. So over 10,000 brokerages across the nation have signed up for Broker Tools. And what that does is it brands RPR to their company for all of the agents for free. So basically, instead of just having Metro Realty down there in the bottom, it'd be up at the top on every page. So tell your broker, if you're not already doing that, get signed up.
If you are a broker, do it. Right?
Yeah, if you are a broker, do it.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Easy. Yeah.
So the broker signs up, then all of the reports their agents use get branded.
Even the website, all the RPR branding turns into your brokerage brand for you and your agents.
I'm just looking at the data here. As you're looking at all the data here, what are some of your thoughts? Those of you that are in the call right now, tell me, are you learning some things that you didn't know were available to you free? You know, when I had this call with Reggie, he interviewed me on one of his podcasts, and I started asking him questions. And I said, I got to share this with my people. Like, this is like what you're doing is really cool. And so it's just I find it fascinating. So this is some of our farming stuff. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, so this is, my team put this book together. This basically is a culmination of all of our interviews with agents. It's case studies, it's how to, and it's a little bit of pump you up and get you going. You know, let's do this. So free download or actually it's free. How are you getting this out to everybody? Do they have to?
Yeah, so it's on that landing page. So it's on the next slide. It's right here.
Yeah, so go get it from here. It's a PDF. And then basically it's going to show you how to measure neighborhoods for performance. It's going to show you how to kind of set up your farm area and give you ideas on how to communicate at market level.
So really, there's no excuse for lack of inventory. There's no excuse for not knowing what to do or how to market. You know, I think of the excuses that people use all the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't know where to get the data. Who do I send it to? What do I send? We've pretty much gone through one by one and eliminated all of our excuses for not engaging with our people. And also, if I'm a brand new agent and I don't know anything, I'll put the app on my phone and I stop giving my opinion and start giving data, because the market tells you what's going on. You don't have to make it up as you go.
I love that. Yeah, very well said.
You know, it used to be that our MLS data was our secret sauce. Remember when, like, as a realtor, the reason you need a realtor is because, you know, they have MLS data. That's not our value anymore. Our value is that we are local, true real estate experts, and the expertise comes through studying the market and the marketplace. And what I found is that the better you are and the more intelligent, the more market intelligence you have, the less you have to wing it, because you give people real answers to real questions about what's really going on. You don't have to come across as slick or shady or, you know, quick-witted. You just say, you know, let me show you what's going on in the marketplace, and here's what I found, and here's what my investors are doing. A lot of people want to know what the insider information is, and this creates the opportunity, in my opinion, to make each one of you a real estate insider. So, like, would you like to know what the insiders are doing? What do the investors like to know about opportunity zones? Or how do you identify where they are? How do we find people that are in pre-foreclosure? How about finding people in pre-foreclosure that are in opportunity zones? Like, there's so many different things that we can search for and look at. So I just let me give you some of the comments, Reggie. This is eye-popping. It exceeds eye-popping data provided by Ivy Data and other sources that put you in the driver's seat. Denise loves the information. Oh my gosh, there's so much here. Definitely learning, amazing and interactive, but a lot to learn and a lot to love. So for someone who's never been here before, that is just logging into RPR, they're just going to go in and sign up. Is there a process that you would have them go through, like learn this first and then go here second and then go here third? What's the What's the,
100%.
hey, I want to do 30 minutes a day in RPR until I become an expert. Where do I start?
I'm so glad you asked that because there's a few things that, and actually my team works very close with training to execute on. And once you create your account on the homepage, you're going to see what we call the shortcuts. And it's this little bar right underneath the main search. And it's got things like search, prospecting, CMA. These are guided tours through the platform to help you teach you how to do the activity. So they literally tell you each step. And if you'd like me to show, I could actually share my screen and show that really quick.
Yeah, go for it. Let me stop my share so you can do that.
Yeah, let me do that really quick and then we can go back to that. Just so you see these. Okay, see these right here, these shortcuts. So they're really just basically a set of instructions that walk you through the process. So if you don't know how to use the site, start there, okay? It will literally walk you through. Secondly, I would point out that on our blog, which is blog.narrpr.com/learning, you're gonna see a myriad of webinars from the getting started to the niche webinars that can really help you master a topic. They're all free and they're also all available on demand. So you don't have to wait till like next Thursday. You can watch it today, right now. But when you get into the platform, search your own property, create a report on your house, and send it to yourself. Try and do a couple things just to get you searching and generating the report. I feel like once you do that, take it a step further with one more task. Throw in a CMA. Take it to the next step. But I definitely start with your own property and create a report on it.
I just want to show the screen as we wrap up today. Reggie, it's a fast hour, isn't it?
I know. I can't even believe it's, yeah. Yes, it is.
Well, let me give you all something. So one of the things we teach our clients is to do what we call 3-2-1. Every day, I want you to reach out to 3 past clients and say, how you doing? How's your family? Give them some data or some information from RPR. I want you to prospect until you find 2 new customers. So reach out to 3 past clients, prospect till you find 2 new customers. That means we're looking for new data. You can use the map search, you can give school information, you can market around properties. And then the one is, I want you to learn one new thing. For the next 30 days, I'd like you to learn one new thing in RPR. And so call 3 past clients, prospect till you find 2 new customers, and just learn one new thing. And if you learn one new thing for the next 30 days inside of RPR, and you give me 30 minutes a day, you're going to find that your real estate IQ is going to increase. And the conversations you have are going to be much more valuable, not just with you, but you'll feel like you're giving more value to your clients when they ask the question, hey, how's the market? And so I want to put all of you in that position. This is where you go if you want to download the marketing and how to prospect for more tools. More information, please sign up. If you're not a coaching client of Workman Success System, this is the kind of stuff we do all the time internally. We're constantly bringing our coaching clients to the next level. And so this is something that we're focused on. This is just one of many, many tools and resources. There's a lot of things out there. You can have you can go out and buy all of the things to climb Mount Everest, but unless you hire a Sherpa or a guide in the process, you're probably not going to hit the summit. So if you don't have a guide, let's get you one. And just know that there's a lot of opportunity right now is we're moving into what I call as a great weeding out. And so it's been really easy to sell houses the last 2 or 3 years. And you're going to see a weeding out of agents who don't know how to prospect. They don't know how to hunt. They don't know how to separate themselves as expert in the marketplace. So we have a great opportunity. The fact you're investing in your time for being here, that you're interested in learning. I congratulate all of you for being here. Thank you for being here. Reggie, let's give Reggie a big Workman Success. Thank you for being here. Reggie, I appreciate all your knowledge and everything you're doing with RPR. Continued success. And can we have you back another time sometime?
Oh, I'd love it. Yes, anytime.
All right. How do people get a hold of you or follow you or listen to your podcast?
Yes, I'd say the blog is one of the best places, blog.narrpr.com. That's all that work there is from the marketing team. If you ever need to get a hold of me one-on-one, I'm Reggie@narrpr.com.
All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your summer. We'll talk to you all soon. Thanks, everybody.